Hello students, welcome to Archana Miss lecture. Students, today we shall be studying 10th standard English 2.1 Animals, and this beautiful poem is written by Walt Whitman, an American poet. So let's see something about poet Walt Whitman, 1819-1892, a major figure in early American poetry in an age when all poetry was rhymed and metrical. Whitman made a break with tradition and wrote a revolutionary new kind of poetry in free verse. He was a nonconformist in all respects, including his social life. The poet tells us that he feels more at home with animals than humans. What he finds complicated and false. So just let's read the poem. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-content. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their position. I wondered where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? Walt Whitman. Dear students, this poem is written by the very famous American poet Walt Whitman. Along with being a poet, he was also a teacher, government clerk, and a journalist. Walt Whitman is often called the father of free verse. Note down, father of free verse. Whitman defied tradition and wrote poems without a rhyme scheme. Not only did he carve a style of his own in poetry, but did the same in his social life too. So, this poem, Animals, by referring the name or the title of the poem, so Animals, the poet has discussed about his love for animals and how he prefers them over human beings. So, students, let's see the explanation of this poem. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-content. So here the poet prefers to live with animals since they are calm, they are composed and content. What? Placid means not easily upset. They never be upset. They never become upset. So the poet wants to transform himself and wants to live with animals because they are calm, composed, and content. He is fascinated by animals. I stand and look at them long and long. Why? Because he is fascinated by animals and can gaze at them for hours. So, he wants to belong, he wants to a companion with animals for long and long. Why? Because they do not sweat and whine about their condition. Because he says, the poet says, animals never complain about their conditions or situation. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They never complain about their condition and situation. They do not lie. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. And they sleep. They sleep very peacefully as they do not have regrets about anything. They do not have any, disturbance in their mind. That for that they weep for their sins. They never weep for their sins or for their regret. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. What he says? They sleep peacefully as they do not have regrets about anything. Unlike humans, animals don't annoy, don't force the poet, don't convey the poet by talking about God, by talking about God and our duties towards Him. So here the poet is not being forced or not being annoyed by the animals. Why? By talking about God and to remind his duties towards Him. So here you can see glossary side by side: self-contained, self-sufficient, and make me sick, disgust or regret me, demented, mad, or mania is the craze. So here we can see the next line. So mania of the owning things. Not one kneels to another, not to his kind, that lives thousands of years ago. Animals are here content and have no craving for the worldly object. Animals are content and have no craving for the worldly object. Animals don't kneel. Animals don't kneel before another. Here the line is, not one kneels to another, nor to his kind them that lived thousands of years ago. So animals don't kneel before one another, nor do they care about each other's ancestors. They don't care about each other's ancestor lived thousands of years ago. Humans on the other hand, what they do? What about the humans? Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So here humans on the other hand holds their ancestor in high regards and often bow in front of other humans for many reasons. Here the poet observes that animals all across the world, here poet not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. Here what the poet observes over here, that animals all across the world, the earth, are neither too happy nor too unhappy. Okay, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. So the poet finds the animals affectionate and loving, and he feels the same towards them. They bring me token of myself. They evince them plainly in their position. What he says again? He says that over a period of time, as humans have evolved, they have given up They have lost what? Their basic nature and quality. So they shows their relations to me. I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. What is the real human nature? They brought up the real human nature, the affectionate, loving. Okay, and he says over a period of time, as humans have evolved, they have given up their basic nature and qualities. But here they evinced them plainly in their position. But here virtues like love, compassion, cooperation, coordination are still exhibited by whom? By animal. By animal. Okay, because them plainly in their position. Who made them on its position? Animals. They made this. They exhibited this all kind of virtues on their position. I wondered where they get those tokens. Tokens here consider the virtues like love, compassion, coordination, cooperation, and all the things. So they are the one who have carried forward these characteristics. I wondered where they get these token. I wondered. He's very surprised. They are the ones who have carried forward these characteristics and virtues. Upon seeing animal, the poet tries to recollect where he has accidentally lost his true nature. Did I pass? He is surprised that we used time ago and negligently dropped them. The virtues which he lost, which he given up, that they are the ones who have carried forward these characteristics and virtues. Upon seeing animal, the poet tries to recollect. The poet Walt Whitman tries to recollect where he has accidentally lost his true nature. So, what kind of nature? What tokens of love? Is love, compassion, cooperation, coordination, belongingness, and all the things. So, dear students, in this poem, Walt Whitman highlights the flaws of the civilized society. In our journey of progress, we have forgotten basic human values which make us human in the true sense. By Walt Whitman. Students, in this poem, Walt Whitman has written this poem in free verse. The length of the line is also unequal. You can see the poem is not in very proper manner, and the beauty of this poem is enhanced manifold using various figures of speech like alliteration, repetition, onomatopoeia, rhetoric questions, tautology, and hyperbole that are very simple to understand, yet they result in a rich creation. So, let's see. So, the poem is in free verse, and let's see the figure of speech used in this poem. So, we can see the line I stand. Here, I stand and look at them long and long. Students, here L sound has been repeated. Here the sound of the letter L is repeated thrice for poetic effect. So this figure of speech is alliteration. Side by side, this line also is having repetition figure of speech, because long and long, this word has been repeated thrice to denote the length of time and the poet stood in order to watch the animals. So let's see the next line. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not sweat. Just below that, they do not sweat. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. So this line is having onomatopoeia, figure of speech, because the word whine denotes the sound of complaints made due to one's unsatisfactory condition. Let's see the next line. Just below that, they do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. They do not make me sick. Here, this line. This line is having the sound of the letter D is repeated thrice for poetic effect, and this is obviously which figures of a speech? Alliteration. This figure of a speech is alliteration. Let's see the next line. Not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented. Just below that. Not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with. Students, this is repetition because the word not one have been repeated for poetic effect, and also there is alliteration. The sound of the letter D is repeated for poetic effect. Let's see the next line. Not one is demented with the mania of owning thing. Here, the mania of owning thing. So there is a tautology because the words demented and mania mean the same thing, that is crazy. So the both words are presenting the similar meaning, that is crazy. That's why this figure of speech is tautology. Students, we have also next figures of speech, that is hyperbole. The word and the line for that is not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. Let's see the line. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. This is hyperbole because the word whole earth or the whole world have been exaggerated to refer animals that live all over the world. And also there one more figure of speech is antithesis because two contrasting ideas, respectable meaning happy or satisfied, and unhappy meaning sad or dissatisfied, are placed in the same line. So this is antithesis. Next, see the next line. They bring me tokens of myself. They bring me tokens of myself. So which figures of speech is this? Alliteration. Why? Because the sound of the letter M has been repeated for poetic device. And there one more figure of speech just I explained, that is tautology, because the word me and myself means the same. Me and myself mean the same. So students, we have more figure of speech over here, mainly in their position. Alliteration, again the sound mainly, the plainly in their position. So alliteration, the sound of the letter P has been repeated for poetic effect. Next, I wondered where they get those tokens. Next, just next to this line. Alliteration, again the sound of the letter W and the syllable TH have been repeated for poetic effect. So This is alliteration. Next, the last line, did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently dropped them? This is interrogation because the introductory sign, the poet concludes the poem using a question. Here, question mark. Not to elicit any answer, but to stimulate the reader to think deeply about the question. So this is interrogation. Hyperbole, yes. There is one more figure of speech, that is hyperbole. The words used times ago are used to exaggerate the passage of time. The passage of time. So students, this all about the poem. I hope you understood this poem. Thank you.